Hello everyone, I'm Casper Kuma, and today we're making a wind-up Otomo. Otomos are the mascot for Cecilia Immergreen of Hololive English. Cecilia is an ancient automation, with a penchant for flowers, tea, and creating music. Cecilia debuted on June 22, 2024 as a member of HoloEN 4th Generation Justice. The original design for the Otomos looks a bit like an automaton, which I feel like makes sense given Cecilia's music background, but later it was changed to look more like a wind-up toy, which is also very cute, and I like how they now have matching keys. So to make this little creature, the first thing I do is model it in Fusion 360, and then I send it to my 3D printer. As you can see, I made the body kinda onigiri shaped instead of making it completely spherical. The original design looks a little bit squishy, but realistically most robots are more symmetrical. Making it this shape though should help it retain some of its quirkiness, but also feel a bit more realistic as a robot. Next, I steal the wind-up gearbox from this little dinosaur toy. I'm going to use it to make the Otomos' wind-up key spin. And now that I have all the parts off the plate, I rip off any supports or little strands left over from printing. I then glue the arms and legs together with Gorilla Epoxy glue. I do this now so I don't accidentally sand one side shorter later. While that dries, I move on to sanding the rest of the body. For sanding, I start off with either a metal file or a sandpaper bit on a Dremel, and then progressively move on to higher grits of sandpaper. I do this to get rid of any 3D printed layers I see. I want this Otomos to have a very smooth finish. After I finish sanding, I look for any little holes or visible layers. I fill those areas with Liquitex modeling paste, and then I sand it smooth after it dries. Then, after everything is sanded, I put all the pieces together to make sure everything fits, and then I check to make sure that all the parts that I want to be able to move can move. As you can see, I put ball joints on the ends of the arms and legs. This will allow the Otomos to be posed a little bit. I also left holes on the ends of the hands so that I could put magnets in there later, which will allow the Otomos to hold things. After checking the fit, I move on to priming. I use Vallejo black primer first. I coat the entire model with this because it will help the other paint stick to the model better. It'll also help ensure that all this pink plastic is covered up. After that's done, I then give everything a coat of gray primer. This was probably a bit unnecessary, and I honestly don't remember why I did this, but I'm sure at the time I had a reason. But after that's done, I give the whole thing a coat of metallic silver paint. This is because I want to give the paint job a bit more dimension by doing some weathering later. The silver parts will be where some of the paint got chipped off from everyday wear and tear. However, I paint the key parts metallic gold instead of silver to match the color scheme of the Otomos. I won't be weathering the key like the rest of the body because realistically the key would have been made out of metal, and it would be weird if there were silver bits sticking out from under the gold. That'd be like a knockoff Otomos. But after that's done, I go back to the main body and use liquid masking fluid for weathering. I apply just a tiny bit along the edges and seams, and anywhere else I feel like it would have likely had its paint chipped off a little. Then I move on to painting the body. I'm using a mix of yellow green, olive green, and blue green. I mix it all together and then I put it in my airbrush. After that, I add some masking fluid to the feet and then spray them green too. After the base coat is done, I add a little bit more blue to the mix and spray on some shadows. This will give the paint job a little more dimension. And after that's all dry, I peel off the masking fluid. Then I move on to painting the hands and face white and painting the arms and legs black. Next, I mix up a little red, orange, and white for the little triangle on its chest. And once everything's dry, I peel off the rest of the masking fluid. Then I put some masking tape over the Otomos' face and cut a little hole for the mouth. And then I spray the inside of the mouth a pale pink. Then I do the same for the eyes, but I paint them black. And with that, the paint job is all done. All that's left is to seal it all with some gloss varnish. I coat the model lightly with the varnish about 3 times. And once that's dry, it's time for assembly. I take out my Gorilla epoxy glue again and start gluing everything together. The triangle in the face seemed to stick out of the model a bit more than I'd like, so I think something was a little bit wrong with my measurements in Fusion. Seems I may have not made the holes big enough on the body for them to slide into. But it's fine, you can't really notice from a distance, so whatever, you know? And here I finally add the magnets to the hands, and luckily they fit in perfectly. Then I add these wooden pegs to the body to make it easier to line up the body pieces, and so that the parts don't move around too much when I clamp it together later. And when everything's in, I push the body together with a clamp and let it dry. And with that, the wind-up Otomos is complete. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I've been wanting to make one of these for a while now. I just really like wind-up toys and I thought the Otomos were very cute. But if you like this video, don't forget to check out some of my other ones. I made stuff like a Bow the Whale Bluetooth speaker and a Noscoco flash drive. And hopefully I can get working on my next build soon too. Don't forget to tell me about VTubers you like in the comments below. It always helps to have more people in mind when it comes to brainstorming. But with that, this Otomos is complete and cat tested and approved. So I hope you like this video, and I will see you in the next one. This is Casper Kuma, over and out.